How you doing? My name is Ben Ivey. I am a teacher here at Godby High School. I teach history classes, African American history, psychology, sociology, and I do some IT stuff with TV production as well as Photoshop. The lesson that I taught today was from my African American history course. I like to take real world examples and apply it to things that we learn in the textbook. We've been talking about the Jim Crow South, and I wanted a real life example, and in this case it was George Stinney. He's the youngest person executed in 1944 in South Carolina. So I wanted to go in there, examine all the facts, the details. I wanted to bring in some technology. We started with Google Earth. I thought Google Earth would be a great way to introduce geography and how there's nothing random about geography. Slavery had to take place in a certain situation, and then Jim Crow followed and everything else. It didn't happen just because geography plays a big role. And it was also a nice way to review and engage them and get them going from the beginning.
Ask me what happened. My words are cotton balls. They do not hear them, and I can barely get them out. I tell them.
I also like to use art because I think art is a great way to humanize people in history. A lot of times, the people that don't like history, it's all about names and dates and facts, and it's very minimal. But when you humanize it, you make it emotional and you make it about people, and people can always relate to other people. And so that's what I was trying to do. I brought in some spoken poetry that really talked about his death and made people feel for him. And I also like to bring in news because I think news is important because you're trying to keep things current, you're trying to tie things to today. And this case relates to today because they're trying to exonerate him, righting wrongs of the past in history and making it personal. So that's really what I did. Well, my background is media, and I started out and I got to learn a lot and play with technology. So I'd say that I'm comfortable. In the classroom, though, I think you got to get comfortable because you got to be able to adapt and change and go with things and being able to pull stuff up really quickly. So it took me a little bit while, but I think I was a little bit more comfortable than most people. But learn and error, you got to laugh at yourself and just keep going. And I think the biggest thing is not being afraid to try because you'll only get better, by trying. As a teacher, you feel the energy in the room, and you can see when their kids are into it and they're involved and they're invested and they can't wait to get their hands up and talk about things, because they're really into it. They're invested into it versus I'm just waiting for this class to be over. And I think the technology offers a lot of different ways to introduce that information that gets them engaged quicker than anything you could do by yourself. And that's really why I implement it and just keep learning and trying new things.